Talk a little bit about how MAHA has affected you personally. My grandchildren go to school with your children, and the MAHA, I think, has gotten a lot of people thinking about how they raise their kids, what they feed them, et cetera, how they go shopping. And then maybe to talk a little bit about the political impacts of MAHA.
Yeah, so there are so many different ways I could talk about this. I mean, one, I just met Bobby's family backstage, or at least some of them, and I kept on shaking hands with various people, and I'm like, well, you're an Irish Catholic, so it makes sense that you've got a dozen or so people backstage. But I love that. I love big families. But so one, my wife. She's probably one of the original MAHA people, though I don't think that she would have ever used that phrase. Because I remember, our oldest son is 8 years old, and when babies typically eat solid food around 6 months of age, and I remember when he started eating solid foods, and I'm like, awesome, let's give him some cupcakes and ice cream. And my wife was like, no, let's give him carrots and applesauce here. So she was already thinking about health and nutrition in a way that was frankly kind of foreign to me, and that I think is very common among the MAHA crowd. You guys are asking the right questions. What are we putting into our bodies? Where was it sourced from? If we're eating animal-based protein, is it coming from a place where the animals are treated the right way? If we're putting medications into our body, are we actually confident that they're doing the thing that they're supposed to do, that they're safe and effective? I just think this whole thing is about asking very critical questions about what we're putting into our bodies, into the bodies of our kids. And it's really affected me in a very profound way, and how I think about my own nutrition, about particularly how I think about what my kids are taking. And, I'm like one of these crazy people. The one way in which I'm more instinctively MAHA is that if I have a back sprain, or I slept weird and I woke up with back pain, I don't want to take ibuprofen. I don't like taking medications. I don't like taking anything unless I absolutely have to. And I think that's another MAHA style attitude. It's not anti-medication, it's anti-useless medication. We should only be taking stuff, we should only be giving our kids stuff if it's actually necessary, safe, and effective. And I think that's an attitude that's really beneficial to the entire country, because we do have, you've talked about this as eloquently as anybody, we do really have an obesity epidemic in the United States of America. I think a big part of that is not asking where our food comes from. We really do have medications that I don't think, maybe they're not solving the chronic disease epidemic, maybe some of them are even causing the chronic disease epidemic. We got to be asking more critical questions about what we're putting into the bodies of our kids. And I don't think we were doing that until this movement came along.